Welcome to episode 35 of Stageworthy. I'm your host, Phil Rickaby. Stageworthy is a podcast about people in Canadian theatre. On Stageworthy, I might talk one-on-one with an actor, director, playwright, or producer, or I might get a group of people together to talk about a specific aspect of theatre in Canada. My guest is Aisha Jarvis, a Toronto-based actor and singer currently appearing at the 2016 edition of the Charlottetown Festival in both Mamma Mia and Anne of Green Gables. If you would like to be a guest on Stageworthy or just want to drop me a line, you can find Stageworthy on Facebook and Twitter at StageworthyPod, and you can find the website at stageworthypodcast.com. If you like what you hear, I hope you'll subscribe on iTunes or Google Music or whatever podcast app you use, and consider leaving a comment or rating. How long have you been in Charlottetown?
I've been here since the beginning of May, around May 9th. Mm-hmm. Or I guess I got here on the 10th.
Yeah.
May. Yeah. So we started rehearsals on the 12th.
And you've been primarily rehearsing Mamma Mia?
Yeah, we were rehearsing Mamma Mia, and we opened that on June 4th. Mm-hmm. And so now we're just doing performances of Mamma Mia while we rehearse Anne of Green Gables, which opens on the 30th.
And they're going to run in rep, are they?
They're going to run throughout the whole summer, yeah. And we do Anne for half the week and Mamma Mia the other half. So on our double show days, we'll do one of each. So we get 4 and 4.
So at least you're not doing the same show twice a day.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that it keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And houses are good?
Yeah. I'm in an apartment building that's pretty new, just subletting the place for the summer, and it's been great.
Cool. Is this your first time in Charlottetown?
I was here 2 years ago. I did their Young Company in 2014, so that was my first time. So,
you come from a theater family. Do I have that right?
Yeah, my dad is in theater.
Yeah. Was your dad in theater the whole time you were growing up?
So yeah, he was always a singer. He's been a singer my whole life. He played in bands and different things like that. He got into music theater when I was about 7 or 8. Okay. Started with The Lion King, and then from there he's been doing a lot of.
And were you all interested in theater before him, or was
I grew up dancing. I did dance as a kid, and I was introduced to theater. Doing that, and through seeing him on stage, I always had an interest in performing. I never, I wasn't one of those kids who knew they were going to be a performer right from the get-go. I kind of did it more for fun. Thought about going into other things, but eventually, I started to learn how to sing, and I acting and all different kinds of things around theater, and just kind of found that it was where I felt most like myself, and my love for it grew.
When did it become the thing that you were going to do?
We're going to do? Yeah. Probably at the end of high school. I went to an arts high school, and I did music theater there, the Topical School of the Arts. And even throughout there, I was still just doing it more for fun. But by the end, when it came around to, time to choose what you're going to do, I was like...
So when you were doing it just for fun, you were at an arts, you were at a school doing theater.
We were doing theater, but a lot of kids come out of that school and don't go into it. Okay. So a lot of my classmates, so a lot of them went into theater, but a lot of them went into other things as well. So, yeah.
Do you remember your first theater experience? Like not necessarily performing, but your first theater that you saw?
Lion King was actually the first show I saw.
Did you see that with your dad in it? Or
I saw it with my dad.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. It was amazing.
Who was your dad in that?
He was a swing, so he swung all the male singer tracks, and then he understudied for Simba and Pumbaa. Yeah.
Swing is one of those jobs that people don't talk about in the theater. Like, people who aren't in theater don't know what a swing is, and people who are in theater sometimes don't think so much about the swing, but man, that's a hard job.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Is that something you would ever see yourself doing, or is that like?
I think it would be a cool thing to do. It would be a big challenge for sure. And there's parts of it I don't envy. Because it's hard, and I've done kind of swing tracks for like show choirs, but that's that's maybe a couple numbers. So doing for a whole show would be crazy. But did you do show choir in school? Yeah, at my high school we did show choir.
Was that so? You did show choir and theater at the same time, or did you go show choir and then sort of into theater?
Well, we did full productions of musicals at our high school as well, and then show choir was kind of extracurricular thing you did on the side.
What was your first musical that you did?
That I did?
Yeah.
Like in high school or
ever?
Just ever?
Like whatever. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I must have been Urinetown. I think that was the first show I got to do at school.
You did Urinetown in school?
Yeah.
Okay,
we did
that's
Urinetown
cool. That's cool.
School, yeah.
That's fun. You were at which? Were you at Sheridan for theater? Or
Sheridan.
And you did that. I can't remember the name of it. The that interactive.
Brantwood.
The Brantwood.
Yeah. We did
you
that.
Were part
that was
of
our last show. Yeah.
I know so many people who were desperate to get tickets to that, and people who went so many times. What was it like doing a show that's not your traditional theater stage, and there's an audience that sits there? Brantwood was, as an interactive thing, people move around and can walk in at any moment. Be a part of it.
So it's a totally different energy level, I found, because you're never off stage.
Right.
So you're going for 2 hours nonstop. I think it was a bit over 2 hours, actually, maybe 2.5. And our show, it ran, you do your whole track and then you run the whole thing again. So that was interesting too. You get to the end of your story and then you kind of have to, and you start right over again.
And was your story taking up the 2.5 hours, and then you do the whole thing again? For 4 hours.
Took about an hour for one track, and then we did another hour again, and there was a finale that we all did at the end of the second run. You're as close to audience members as we are sitting now. Sometimes even closer, and sometimes you're talking directly to them and doing things with them, and so the show would change very drastically depending on who you were interacting with and what you got to do with those audience members. But right at the beginning of my track, I had pretty much an improv sequence. You had plot points that you had to hit, and certain things that you had to do, but within that you can interact with the audience members kind of any way you want. As long as it is true to your character, of course. And then we'd have written scenes that we do, and it was such a cool, exciting experience. It's so different.
How do you prepare for that kind of interaction with an audience? Because that's not something that anybody's really used to. Nobody teaches you that in school, because you usually learn the audience sits here and you are there performing at them. How do you prepare for interacting with the audience like that?
Well, we actually got to perform for our classmates in the rehearsal process. Not a whole lot, because with the nature of the piece, you had to rehearse multiple scenes at the same time, so you didn't always get to see everything that was going on. But we did have rehearsal time dedicated to watching our peers and being those audience members for them. I think a lot of things we figured out once the show was open, because you can't really learn how that kind of a beast of a show is going to work until you have everyone in there.
And you have no idea what the audience is going to be. Because not everybody is going to be, your classmates could be very giving audience members, and a regular audience could be very different. Did you figure out any tricks for drawing people in when they were resistant, or?
A lot of just eye contact and just showing people that you are genuinely interested in them and what they can bring to this. And I think sometimes getting people one-on-one would make them more willing to be free and talk to you. And I think that was some of people's most favorite moments of the show, because they had a little special thing that no one else had.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get some audience members that just didn't want to, and it's kind of just reading them and knowing when to take a step back. And,
Did
sometimes
you ever find it difficult to take somebody one-on-one when they're with a group of people, or
like sometimes you'd have scenes where you just ended up being by yourself because you don't want to take audience away from another scene, and sometimes they're just interested in something else, and we don't ever stop them from leaving a room or anything like that. So
when you're by yourself, are you still doing the scene in case somebody comes in?
Of course, yeah. You just have to stay on. And you're doing it just like there's an audience there. You keep going.
That's got to be kind of weird sometimes.
Yeah.
To be able, I'm doing the scene, but there's nobody here to see it, and there might not be anybody to see it.
For sure.
Overall, what did you think of the experience of doing a show like that?
I loved it. It was so different and interesting, and it taught me a lot about myself as an actor and as a person. A lot of it scared me, like the whole improv aspect of it was something I wasn't as comfortable with, and it pushed me in the greatest way. And it's still something I continue to work on, and it was a great experience, and I think it really bonded our class.
Had you done any kind of improv outside of like a couple of classes in school, or?
Yeah, it was really just what we got. We got at school. We had a full semester of it, which was great. But nothing, and classes here and there before that, but not a whole lot.
Because I know that show has inspired a couple of other shows. I know Hogtown in Toronto. Sam Rosenthal was hugely inspired by that and Sleep No More to create that show. And I think, if that show was not part of school, it probably could have run a lot longer than it did.
Maybe. Yeah. People really loved it and seemed to pick up on it. And we're still hopeful that maybe it'll have another life. But
that could be cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool. But it's awesome that it's inspired things like Hogtown. And I was actually part of the workshop of that earlier this year. So it was cool to do Brantwood and then have that experience.
That's very cool, because I know after that workshop, Sam had mentioned that some actors found the interactivity very difficult to do, because it's not what you're expecting. Like if you only know one type of the regular type of theater, for want of a better term, then it's very shock. It's like a shock to do that kind of interactivity. Were you able to give people pointers or
well, we were open to there were a few of us that had done Brantwood that were part of Hogtown, and there was a little bit of discussion when people needed to. There was a lot of people in it that had also done immersive theater as well. So they, brought in their insight. I think we were mostly there to show them that, it'll all come together. It's all going to work, even though it seems like it's a lot going on at once, because it's more than a regular rehearsal process. When you have 3 scenes that are going on at once, and you're worried about timing and whether things are going to flow the right way. And but Sam is brilliant, and the whole team, Drew and everyone who worked on that show was great, and had gave us great comfort, and having gone through Brantwood, we knew it would all work out as well.
I know that with Hogtown, Sam had talked about using music as sort of a way to keep things on track, to have like music as the timekeeper. When you did Brantwood, how did you keep things on track?
So we actually had clocks. In pretty much every room. So you'd have to, and you'd have, you'd know how much time you had for each scene, for each moment. You'd know exactly where you're supposed to be at 6 minutes or 13 minutes, or so we kept track that way. And sometimes it would, you'd be able to clock, from another scene that was ending, that yours was supposed to begin, or things like that. But it was a lot of us just keeping track of the time, and eventually you could kind of feel it. It was kind of in your body. You know exactly where you're supposed to be. So
after Brantwood and before Hogtown, were you doing any theater in between there?
Yes, I did a couple shows in that summer. I did a production of Snow White with Solar Stage Children's Theatre. And I did a show called The Postman, which was another site-specific show that we did. And then I was doing the Theatre 20 Conservatory right up until starting Hogtown and through Hogtown as well. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You've been doing some theater since you were a teenager and through school, and now you're in Charlottetown working professionally. Do you notice any differences in the way that you approach work from when you were starting out to how you work now?
That's an interesting question. I think just through life experiences that I've had, I'm able to find ways into characters a little more easily and dig deeper into the more difficult of characters. I think I've opened myself up a little bit more, so I'm able to access those different emotions more quickly and more easily, or think about things in a different way. I think because I've picked up a lot more tools along the way, there's a lot more that goes into it, and my passion for it has only grown. So, yeah.
In Charlottetown, you were saying you rehearsed Mamma Mia, and you open Mamma Mia, and you start rehearsing Anne of Green Gables. How do you find the combination of rehearsing during the day, performing at night? Do you find that is that draining, or do you have any ways of keeping your energy for both?
Yeah, it can be a long day. I find I just have to keep myself going. And they do shorten our rehearsal schedule on the days that we do perform. And sometimes it's just a matter of kind of getting that blood flowing again. If we have a little bit of a break and you eat and you settle down and you feel a little sleepy, but then you just gotta, but you always know that there's an audience there coming to see you, and you never know what you can do for that, one or two people in the audience. Even if you move those one or two people, it's worth it. And just remembering that, I think, gets me going, ready to go. So
I sometimes find the worst thing I could do is have a nap.
Because
then
me
I'm just
too.
Gonna be too.
I can't. So I've tried.
And you know what? Coffee doesn't do it for me at that point, because that's just gonna, it doesn't hydrate, doesn't do anything. So you just gotta, I guess, just drink water and get your body moving. Do you have? I don't want to ask you to choose between your children, but is there one that you're enjoying more right now?
One show that oh my goodness. They're both
You're not
so
going to get in trouble if you say one or the other. It's okay.
No, I'm really enjoying both of them. It'll be awesome to get Anne up and running, I think. So I'm enjoying performing with Mamma Mia, of course, and just being rehearsal processes for Anne. It's a whole different thing, and they're such completely different shows, so I love them for different reasons.
I wonder what it's like rehearsing a show like Anne of Green Gables that has such a history here. Is there, I don't even know how I'm trying to phrase this, but because Anne of Green Gables is they do it every year. Is it the same every year? Do they find new ways to make it fresh every year?
I believe last year was the year that they did a bit of a rework and some things were taken out. I think they went back to the book and really stayed true to what that story was. And who knows what the future of it will be. I don't know if they're going to do some big revamp of the whole thing, but
is there something that you? So obviously you're going to finish out this season. It's going to go till
September 3rd.
Yeah, and then you're going to go back to Toronto. And are there? I mean, it's so hard to set goals in this industry.
Yeah.
But are there things that you want to do?
Well, there's so many things, I guess. I just love to work for, any of the companies in Toronto. There's so many different ones. And I'd love to work for any or all of them. And I'd love to travel and just do theater that's important and that I'm passionate about. And
your dad's on tour.
Yeah.
And have you learned anything about touring theater from your dad's experience?
Well, he's taught me a lot about just, going after things even if it scares you, because it was something that made him nervous, and it was something that would make me nervous too, going on tour for that long, and jumping into a show where everyone already knows what they're doing. And that's kind of helped me in this process as well, because Anne was a show that most people in the cast have already done.
Okay.
So the process was pretty quick because of that. There were a handful of us that were new, but most people had done it before. So just reminding myself that I'm here for a reason. My dad tries to remind me of that, and reminds himself of that as well. And just going after things, and the things that scare you really are the most rewarding.
That's one of the things that I'm finding. Like just myself. That if something scares you, it scares you for a reason, and it could be so easy to just sort of say, "No, I'm not gonna do that because it scares me." But if you push against it, obviously it's important to you, or it wouldn't scare you.
Yeah.
And it's great that you have your dad to sort of show you that. And you've seen him perform in the show that he's in.
Yeah.
And you saw him. You've seen him perform a number of shows. What's it like watching your dad?
Watching my dad up there?
Yeah.
I'm just filled with pride, and I love watching him out there. He's a big inspiration for me. Big reason why I do what I do. I love seeing the way he works, and keeps me working hard because he's always learning. And he reminds me that you can learn something from everything. He really lives by that, especially because he didn't go to theater school, so he credits his first show. He was in Lion King for 3 years, and he kind of says that was like his theater school, because he just would learn from everyone and everything.
You would learn a lot in 3 years.
Yeah,
on the show.
for sure. Especially
was he touring that show?
No, he was just in Toronto, swinging, and understudying.
That's. I mean, I had a thought and I've lost it. Like what your dad being an inspiration to you and teaching you so much. You were saying that your dad didn't do theater school. And I know these are questions that I'd probably love to be asking your dad.
Yeah.
But he's not here right now. Did you see a difficult transition in him from going from music, like being a musician, into theater? Or did he just dive in with both feet?
Well, I was also very young, so I think a lot of the challenges I might not have seen, but talking to him now, I know that it was terrifying, and a lot of, and he did go into training outside of that as well, because he didn't have that background. Having sung all his life, I think he was prepared in that sense. But singing music theater is also very different.
It is very different. There's a lot more to it.
Yes.
And probably more shows in a week than he would normally do.
So he took a lot of lessons, and learned from a lot of people, asked a lot of questions. But kind of just dove in head first and
I
learned
actually think that we don't do enough of that generally. I in my experience, there's a lot of people who don't people are afraid to ask the questions. I won't look stupid. I don't want to not know this or look like I don't know it. But I think that asking those questions is so important. Like if you don't know a thing, you should ask it.
For sure.
For yourself, when you were, you made that choice to go into theater. but it wasn't something that you were thinking of doing. What were some of the other things that you were thinking of doing before you...
Thinking of doing?
Yeah.
Well, as a kid, I thought about, maybe being a teacher or a doctor. And during high school, I thought a lot about going into psychology. And that was kind of my second plan.
Yeah.
For a long time, I thought my parents wanted me to get a degree in something else, not theater, something a little more stable. But, and so I was looking into other things, other degrees. But then I found out they just really wanted me to get a degree. My mom, coming from the business world, especially, was very passionate, and my dad as well, about getting a degree, and in our current society, having a degree can help just in other things, if I wanted to go into something else.
Yeah.
So once I found out about Sheridan and I knew that their program was turning into a degree program, I was thrilled to have that as an option.
Sometimes when I talk to people and they get to that, they were talking about when they went and decided they were going to go into theater, and then I asked them about how their parents reacted. You had a father who was in theater at the time, so and I imagine that he wasn't too resistant.
No,
but obviously something was making you think that your parents didn't want you to do it.
Well, not that they didn't. They were totally supportive in me doing that. Mm-hmm. I knew that I'd be allowed to do theater, no matter what. Mm-hmm. It was just, I thought they wanted me to get a base degree in something else, just in case.
Yes, yeah.
But that wasn't the case. But I had never doubted that they were going to let me do theater.
Cool.
They talked to me a lot about the struggles that would come with it. They were very realistic about what my life would be.
It's also good that you had somebody who had, who knew a little more firsthand.
Yeah.
Because not everybody has that as an asset to be able to give them a bit of inside knowledge.
Yeah, yeah. And those are some of the struggles that my father had seen, transitioning as well, and because he had worked an office job and had that steady paycheck.
Yeah,
and he was pretty lucky to work pretty steadily, but there were some breaks in there I never noticed as a kid. But that was definitely something that they had to get used to, and we were always able to stay, comfortable. I think having my mom in a different field helped a lot too, and he was very lucky with the flow of his career. Well,
it's unusual to go. I don't know if he did, if he worked up to being in The Lion King and did some other things, or if he just sort of was right into The Lion King.
That was kind of his first. He went to an open call. It was a long process. Many auditions. Took a while before he was actually in the show, but that was his very first theater.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
One of the things that I always found the most difficult about doing theater when I was trying to do it full time was the idea of picking up and leaving and going to where the work was, because I was very much a homebody, and so the idea of just it's time to pack my bags and I'm going to go here for 6 weeks. I'm going to go here for 6 weeks. I found that really terrifying is not the word, but it was really, really daunting, and I didn't push myself enough to do it. Do you find it? Because you can go two ways. You can say, I'm really excited about it, or you can say, this is really scary and sort of be afraid of it. I went to the fear angle. Do you find yourself more on the, I'm just excited to do it sort of spot?
I think so. Yeah. I've always been someone who loves to travel, and the idea that my work can take me to those different places is exciting. I do get very homesick, and I love my family, and I'm very close with them, so I miss them a lot. And there are nerves that come with going away, and I've never been away for a contract for this long, so it was definitely a little scary coming here, but I was very excited.
But you've been here before, so at least you had some,
and that was a comfort as well. Yeah.
When you were here the last time, how long were you here for?
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
So not quite as long.
Yeah, this is just an extra month now. Yeah.
I mean, here you are in Charlottetown. It's a place that I've never been before. What do you really love about Charlottetown? Whether it's the festival or the city or whatever. Yeah.
Well, the festival is amazing. And the people involved in that are incredible and passionate, and there's a lot of beautiful theater that happens here, and the people that you see coming to the shows are wonderful, and I find it's a very friendly place. Everyone's always willing to talk and get to know you, and just everyone has a smile on their faces, and it's a very cute, sweet place to be, and it's beautiful, especially in the summer. And people always say that this place comes alive in the summer. And I've only been here in the summer, but you can see it happen.
You've also been here through a very bleak couple of months.
True. Yeah.
So maybe you have a better sense than you did last time of how it comes alive in the summer. So Adam Brazier is the artistic director of the Charlottetown Festival now, and he was the artistic director. I don't remember what his actual title was. Theatre 20. But he did that. He was the founding director of that, and then he's come here. Had you had the opportunity to work with him or talk with him before?
I'd worked with him a bit, just in like master classes or things here and there, and I'd met him before briefly because he actually worked with my dad. So and we worked with him when I did Young Company as well. So, yeah.
I mean, you were saying, and we're jumping around a lot. That's just the way that this ends up working. So, you were saying how Mamma Mia and Anne of Green Gables are two very different shows. I imagine that there's so much about them that's different, because Anne of Green Gables is PI, a very specific style of music, with Mamma Mia being a very, the ABBA thing. In approaching those shows, is there any particular is there something that you find as a sort of a seed that sort of links them together? Because it's unusual to think of those two shows running together. They're so different, and yet here they are sharing a stage at the Charlottetown Festival. Is there some kind of seed that connects them in some way?
Well, I think they both have a lot of heart, and I think they both center around, finding who you are and growing into that, and accepting all the parts of your life and how they mesh to form the being that is you. And I think I would say that they both kind of center around that in their own way. About finding your home wherever that may be, creating your own home, creating your own family, and just staying true to who you are and what you want your life to be.
You were saying that a number of the people who are here have been here in previous years. How's it like being the new kid on the block, coming into a group of people that know each other and have worked together?
It's been great. That brought a bit of nervousness to the process for me, but everyone's just been so welcoming and open, and so as soon as I started, that all those nerves went away. It's been great getting to know everybody, and it's kind of nice, having people who do know what they're doing. They can guide you in certain ways, and then everyone's really taken all the newcomers in. It's been nice.
What's the age range of the cast? Is it?
Oh my goodness. Well, we have young kids in Anne.
Of course, yeah.
Who I'm not sure what the youngest, how old the youngest is, but maybe 8 to over 70. I might be a little off on those numbers, but it ranges quite a bit.
How were the? I mean, the kids are obviously a big part of the show. Is it? Have you worked with children in that way before? I mean, you've done children's theater, which is a very different thing.
Yeah.
But we're acting with kids. Is it?
With kids, in one show. I mean, I've done shows where we maybe had one younger, but 12 was. Yeah. So it's a different experience, and it's you can see different personalities and how some of them are nervous being in a group of people who are so much older than them. I find that I want to find ways to make them feel more welcome and connect with them, and because I'm sure they feel nervous coming into a process where a lot of people know what they're doing as well. I think some of them have done the festival before, so they probably know more than I do. There's things I can learn from them, which is great as well. So and they're all very talented, and you can see some more of them come out of their shells day by day, and some of them are just ready to go and love the stage. That's great. Yeah.
Do you ever wonder about what it would have been like if you were acting, if you were in a show that young? Because you were not. Were not doing theater.
No.
At all.
I couldn't imagine myself doing that because I was such a shy kid. So I don't think I would have. I think I would have been too terrified as a kid to do that. Especially coming into a group of people so much older than me. As
somebody who was a shy kid, did you find that dance helped, or because I know everybody thinks people who are not in theater always go, oh, actors, they're all extroverts. I have most of the actors that I talk to are not extroverts. Everybody's an introvert. Did you find that the dance helped you come out of your shell, or was it like all of the things that you started to do made you a little more confident to be able to be on stage and interact with people and things like that?
I think dance helped a lot, and I think it also introduced me to a lot of like-minded people, which made me more comfortable with myself. And as I added more and more things and found more things that I like to do and got into singing and acting and made me more and more comfortable with myself, and I was able to come out of my shell a little bit more.
What kind of dancing did you do when you started?
I started with ballet, and then I took on tap and jazz and hip hop.
Do you still tap, or?
Yeah, I do. I sure do.
That's that. I mean, that is something that people don't. It is a sadly dying art.
I know. Yeah.
Because not many people do it, and there aren't many shows that call for it. But when they do, there's you have something like Anything Goes, which has an entire cast of people who are tap dancing. So it's important to keep it going. Have you, since you went more into the theater, have you had the opportunity to tap in a show at all?
I haven't.
No?
Not yet. No. I've done some auditions here and there where we have to tap, but and maybe a concert, but no full runs of a show yet. So
is there a show that you can that you would imagine, if you close your eyes and you imagine yourself in the show that you can tap in, is there a show that you can think of?
Oh, my goodness. I think 42nd Street.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Crazy for You. Trying to think of the other tap shows. Even Shrek, there's some tapping in there.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
In there. Trying to think of what else. 42nd Street's probably the big one that I think of first. Yeah.
Is there a dream show?
Dream show.
Dream show. If you could do any show.
Any show. The Lion King's always been a dream one.
That's funny. What's interesting to me about that is that was the first show that you saw.
Yeah.
And I always find that people have this certain affinity for the first show they saw. I know for me, the show that will never fade in my affections is As You Like It. Shakespeare's As You Like It, which is because it's the first thing I saw. But it's interesting that you want to do, and it's still going.
Yeah.
So you might be able to.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. There's so many though that show. The Color Purple's another one that I love. Yeah,
Not on the Hamilton train?
Hamilton would be amazing, of course. Hamilton. Definitely on that train, yeah.
Would you ever want to be in a show with your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'd love to.
Yeah?
Yeah. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
We get along really well. It'd be a totally different experience. We've never been in a situation like that with him, but I think it'd be cool. I think. Yeah.
It would certainly be a different professional relationship to go from father-daughter to father-daughter colleague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Have you started to think yet about plans for when you get back to Toronto?
I'm just planning to keep auditioning and training as much as I can, and seeing what happens. Maybe travel a bit. I don't know.
What kind of training do you do?
What kind of training?
Yeah.
Dance training. I try and go take classes as much as I can. I really want to get into more film acting, so I'll probably do a lot more of that when I get back as well.
Do you have a studio that you work, or a group that you work with when you're doing your dance?
I go to a few different drop-in studios, mostly Metro Movement. Okay. But Joy of Dance is another one I go to sometimes. Yeah, it's just different studios around the city.
Have you had the opportunity to do much film or television?
No, I haven't. We did a little bit of training at Sheridan, and I've done maybe a couple auditions, but I think there's a lot more work I can do on my own.
Well, I haven't cracked it. I know so many people, because it's a different discipline. Yeah. And I know when I was in theater school, we talked about that. We had our, film acting, television acting class. Mm-hmm. But I nobody cracked it then, and it's still just this. It's like, to me, it's like this alien thing. I don't quite understand it. Yeah. But I was talking with Evan Bueling a couple weeks ago, and he was saying that he's still hasn't cracked it yet.
Still trying to crack it, yeah.
And he's like working in television, so it's like one of those things that we continue to struggle with. Yeah. Have you? So you haven't really done much film or television. Have you ever? So no short films or anything like that.
No.
Nothing
like that.
Yeah, it's. I know, for me, I've only done one thing where I felt like I had it, and this group, they hired like these 4 theater actors to do this film, and so they were like, "Wait, these are theater actors, so we're going to do rehearsals." Right. Which never happens in film. Yeah. So we had these rehearsals, and so when we got to actual film day, everything was great. Right. We cracked it because we started theater, and they were saying, "Take it down a bit, and take it down a bit, and take it down a bit," and then we had it. Right. But man, I don't know. Like, I can't duplicate that. Yeah.
So difficult.
It's one of those things that scares me, mostly because I always feel like as soon as somebody says action, that I am now lost. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. And also, there's something different about, when the curtain goes up to somebody saying action. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like somebody saying, "Now act for me, please." Yeah. Which is always kind of difficult. Yeah. So you want to take some film classes?
Yeah, and try my best to crack it, whatever it is. Yeah.
Do you take singing lessons as well?
Yeah, take singing lessons. Trying to learn to play some instruments as well.
What instruments are you trying to play?
Piano and guitar, mostly, and ukulele a little bit too.
Do you have a background with piano, or are you starting from scratch?
Pretty much starting from scratch. Yeah. I took a little bit as a kid, but not very long.
Did you hate it?
I think I was just interested in other things, and I just wasn't focused on practicing.
I think that's pretty common. I know a lot of people who are like, "My mom's making me go to piano lessons. I hate it."
But now I'm like, I wish they forced me to stay.
Of course. And of course, everybody because you see somebody who really plays the piano, you're like, I wish I could do that. Yeah. And of course, that person is the person who stayed with it. When the parents made them go. Yeah. And guitar, is that again from scratch?
Yeah, pretty much from scratch too.
How are your calluses? Are they there, or are they
not yet? No. Still
that's always been the thing for me. Is like I pick up a stringed instrument, whether it's a guitar or mandolin or something, and like 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, man,
yeah,
too much. And then I put it down, and then I don't touch it again for weeks.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, or I'll get busy with things, and I'll come back, and I'm starting all over again.
Yeah. It's the transitions, which are always the hard thing as well.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've learned from doing this show or working at the Solar Stage and other shows that you'd want to go back and tell young high school you?
Just to go for it right from the get-go. To walk in on day one and throw yourself into it fully and not be scared of making a mistake, not trying to get things so perfect right from the get-go, because they never are.
Yeah.
And usually that holds me back from, getting to where I want to be.
Did you find that difficult when you were younger? Just the going in feet first and not...
Oh, yeah, for sure. I being a shy kid and always worrying about, being quote-unquote like perfect. Yeah. I think it stopped me in some areas and made me scared and I'm still learning how to take that out of my brain, but I think through things I've been through so far, I have made mistakes and I've, fallen on my face or whatever, cracked in front of the audience or whatever, and you get back up and everything's fine. And,
Is there a particular point at which you realized that you'd been able to accept that not perfect is okay?
I think it was a gradual process of just letting myself be open and make mistakes and fall on my face enough to realize that it's not really that big of a deal. And I've seen myself get better because I let myself fall. Then you figure out the source of the problem, how to get out of it, and just realizing that you could waste so much time just overthinking things and trying to be perfect, and
you were talking about cracking on stage. Do you have a legendary or big I just laughed on stage moment?
Well, actually, I don't know if it's ever happened on stage, but it's happened in front of classmates, like in performances in front of my 20 or 25 other classmates, or how many of us were there? Over 30, watching you, and you crack in front of all of them. And, it used to be the norm for me. I just every performance I'd go up and I'd just crack.
I have had a number of performances where I just out and out laughed on stage.
Yeah.
And in almost every instance, it was the same actor who made me break.
Oh my gosh.
The same guy, and he targets me.
Yeah.
Anytime I do a show, I know that he's going to try to find a moment, and he's going to do it. So you're lucky that you haven't done it in front of an audience.
Yeah.
But I almost think that like laughing in front of your peers, your classmates, is almost worse.
Yeah. Well, actually, sorry, when I say crack, I mean like vocal crack.
Oh, vocal crack.
I've never laughed. Well, laughing has happened on stage for sure. Okay. Where another colleague he just couldn't keep it together. I think I kept it together for the most part.
That's the worst.
But he was gone, and I was trying so hard to. I think I kept it together for the most part, not fully.
Do you remember what show it was?
It was. Oh, I forget actually. But
that's okay.
Yeah, but
I remember all of mine vividly.
Yeah.
Vividly.
Yeah.
Vividly. A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah.
I was Peter Quince, and he was one of the mechanicals, and he would just do things.
Yeah.
And I'd be gone. I'd be on stage.
Yeah.
Laughing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Which is mortifying, but you know what? The audience doesn't really know that it's not supposed to happen. Sort of.
Yeah.
You know, and all the actors that you're on stage with know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Just trying to think, because there's, you're sort of You have a great role model in your father for a solid career. And a lot of actors would be very fortunate to have the theater career that your father has had. Do you... I mean, obviously every theater career is different. But you have a foundation from watching your father. Is there something that you are looking at in your father that you're sort of trying to emulate?
I think mostly just the work ethic.
Yeah.
And because I see him at home every day, you know, trying to find his way into a script or learning a new song or, you know, various different things like that. He's just always working and always learning. So I take that from him. But I try to focus on myself and not try to copy him. I try to learn from him, but try and take that into myself and make it my own some way.
Well, you can't copy somebody else's process.
Yeah, I'll never be like him. Yeah.
When you're looking at a script, is there something that you look at first that helps you find your way into it?
I think if I can find a way to relate it back to my life, find an experience that's similar or an experience in my life that'll just help me into a certain emotion and way of being of that character, that's when I really can find it. A script clicks for me, or you know, find my way into the piece.
Are you on social media at all? Aside from Facebook, because everybody's on Facebook, do you have like
Twitter and Instagram? Yeah.
What's your Twitter handle? If you don't mind sharing it.
Twitter is Aisha.Jarvis, and my Instagram is Aisha L. Jarvis.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a website?
I don't have a website. No.
Do you find, I mean, people use Twitter for different things. Some people use it for networking, and some people use it for self-promotion, and some people use it just to fart the day away. Do you have a particular, like, how do you tend to use it?
You know, I think I'm going to begin to use it more to promote myself and my career, but I find it's mostly just been about me, and, you know, if there's something I feel like I want to share with the world, I'll share it and kind of connect me with other people and things like that. But
that's like 50 minutes, so I think that we're good. This has been fun.
Great, yeah, it's been so much fun.